Virginia man is looking for a chance to have a fresh start after years of struggling with a drug addiction.
Rudy Carey says his criminal conviction is holding him back, despite proving he is now a productive member of society. He's now hoping a federal judge will hear his story and make a change that could impact more than just him. On Your Side investigator Jasmine Turner has Carey's story and more on what the Commonwealth calls barrier crimes.
Rudy Carey isn't defined by just one chapter.
You can't look at me today and if I would have never told you my story that you would have ever known.
In and out of trouble from 1996 to 2007, struggling with a drug addiction, he faced petty theft and driving violations that led to a felony. And in 2004,
all I know is that in the back of my mind, I just wanted more drugs. I knew that I was right there at the place where I usually go score, and so I gave them this fake name.
Carey was pulled over while trying to get drugs before a concert in Henrico. When police went to arrest him for forging a public record,
I tried to resist arrest, and in so doing, I struck the officer. And that has been the black eye of my life, or the black cloud over my life since then.
Charged with assault, he served almost 3 years. In 2007, Carey got out, but relapsed soon after.
You know, when you begin to use drugs, and where I was at in my life, like everything is non-existent. My children was non-existent, my future was non-existent, and I just didn't want to die.
He got into treatment, got married, started volunteering, speaking to inmates, completed more than 200 college credit hours in counseling and rehabilitation, and eventually started working at a Virginia treatment facility.
And I could see that I was starting to impact the world versus taking away from them.
But what Carey calls the black cloud found him again after 5 years of working at the facility and just months before he was going to take the exam to be a certified substance abuse counselor.
And for that door to shut in my life,
in 2018, he was let go from the facility. They hadn't realized the 2004 charge is one of 176 barrier crimes in Virginia that prevent Carey from working in a direct care position as a counselor. Other crimes include attempts to poison, carjacking, and prisoner escaping from jail.
I didn't know how to say goodbye to something that I love to do, and my life had to change. And it's still changing, but I love what I do. I just want to do it again.
Today, Carey is a truck driver doing what he can to provide for his family. And he's the plaintiff in a lawsuit in federal court against the Virginia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services. The suit claims the law banning Carey from working as an addiction counselor deprives struggling people of qualified and passionate counselors and calls it irrational.
Ultimately, the U.S. Constitution protects the right to earn an honest living. Laws that stop people from working have to at least be rational. And banning people like Rudy for what they did 17 years ago, that's not rational.
He's working with attorney Andrew Ward and a team from the Institute for Justice in D.C., which says it focuses on economic liberty.
Drug abuse was declared an emergency in the Commonwealth, and banning Rudy from working isn't protecting the public. It is depriving people struggling with addiction of a sympathetic and qualified counselor.
When we reached out to the agency, we were told its policy is to not comment on pending litigation, but Carey is hopeful.
I know that there's a change that needs to be made, and it doesn't have to be my life, but it could be someone else's life.
The impact of barrier crimes is something Virginia lawmakers have spent the last year studying. In the last General Assembly session, a Senate bill did pass that would establish a process for the sealing of police and court records of certain criminal convictions. Coming up at 6, hear more from the senator who sponsored the bill and is working on a barrier crime study as well. For the On Your Side investigators, Jasmine Turner, NBC 12.
Thank you, Jasmine. If you have a story you would like the